Hello, good people of Earth. It's your good friend Russ coming at you. I was going to start a series on budget cigars and tobaccos, whether or not they're any good, what you should try, what you should avoid, and I'd actually opted to go with a little more formal introduction to the series, but I just happened to fire up this particular budget stick, and I figured, what the hell, let me just do a quick impromptu review of it. So what this is a Calle Ocho in Toro, which is an Oliva off-brand. It has a Sumatran wrapper with Nicaraguan long fillers. It's a 6x52 stick. And this one, I pulled out of the humidor because it's my very last one. I've had a few of these before. This one has been aged about a year. And one thing that struck me about it immediately is that it seems to stand the test of time for a cheap cigar. You can buy these in bundles of 40 on Cigars International right now for $53. That's 40 for $53, which makes them some ridiculously cheap price. $1.37 or something goofy like that per stick. You can also get them in smaller lots, like on cigarbid.com, for about $2 a stick. So they're very inexpensive in the Toro size. You can get pretty much any of the sizes from Corona all the way through Lonsdale and Churchill for about the same price. Just depends on what you like. You can see that the wrapper has got a nice kind of semi-oily sheen to it. A couple of veins in it, nothing too major. This one does have a slight imperfection, which I think you can kind of see there. It's very tightly packed, well constructed. There is something that feels like, around this imperfection, there is something that feels like a knot there. I'm hoping that's not really the case, but I think we'll see when we get there. Simply constructed, simply banded. When I get to the band, I'll address that. The draw is nice and loose, exactly the way I like them. The flavors coming off the first light were cream, earth, tobacco, and just the tiniest bit of spice. But it's been very good. Burn here, only about 3/4 of an inch in, is a little wavy. This little bit of tunnel at the beginning was there when I started it, but it has not tunneled. It's been burning just fine. It's staying lit perfectly. Smoke output is nice. Solid medium gray to white ash. And so far, in the early going, I have no complaints whatsoever about this budget stick. So I will continue on for a little ways and update you on my progress. Okay, I'm about 2 inches down now. I've had to touch this up twice. The burn is not real good on this. The room note is actually quite nice, and there was a sort of a toasty, nutty flavor coming in, and I was drinking an amaretto coffee along with this, and I thought that might have been influencing the flavor a little bit, so I stopped drinking that. And the flavor is still there, so there's a little bit of a nuttiness, maybe like a hazelnut coming in, along with the sort of light cream, the spice, pretty much all but gone. And then there's a little bit of earth and, you know, the tobacco, of course. I'm into the part of this, that's part here where it was firm and now it's gotten all squishy. So I'm a little worried about the construction, but I'm going to keep going and see where we get. The flavor profile is flattened out a little bit, although if you smoke this with a drink that has a nuttiness to it, hazelnut, amaretto, something like that in your coffee or even alcohol, it definitely adds a dimension to this stick. But the sort of multi-dimensional flavors that it had at the beginning are starting to wind down and flatten out. Hopefully get it down another couple of inches and see where we get. Here we are, about halfway through, maybe a little more. I was just about to give up on this thing because it wasn't going so well, But after the final touch-up, things have straightened out nicely. The flavors have stayed pretty consistent. Every now and again, there's a little bit of maybe coffee or cedar, something a little woody, in with the flavors that have been there all along. The earth, the light cream, spice is completely gone. And the nuttiness is there now and again as well. A nutty drink, like I said, will complement this nicely. The band, self-adhesive, came off no problems. And at this point, I'm glad I didn't give up on it because things are getting better. So we'll get down to the end point and we'll wrap this thing up. Okay, so I'm down to about where I've got maybe an inch or so left to go here. And I don't expect this to change very much, so I'll just kind of wrap it up here. I've been going back and forth as I smoke this thing, whether to like it or not like it. But towards the end, everything's kind of corrected itself. Burn's good. Flavor profile is consistent. Right at the midpoint, it felt like the strength was coming up a bit, but that has gone away. So, I would say, for a budget stick, you could do worse than this. You can also do better than this. So, what I would say is this. Buy a 5-pack. You can get them cheap. That's the whole point of this. Keep them in your humidor. Give them to the people you don't want your Liga Privadas going to. They'll enjoy the smoke, particularly if they're not too savvy. And I just hope you don't spend all of your time trying to correct the burn. Aging does not help these. I seem to remember them being better when I first got them. So don't keep them around. Go through them. But for a good, cheap filler stick, I'll give them a thumbs up as a budget stick. Although I would say you probably want to spend maybe $1 more per stick or $1.50 more per stick and get something a little bit better. But you can't really go wrong. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll catch you next time.